Greetings, I'm Andy Johnson. Welcome to the Church of Transpersonal Christianity. Today's topic is argument. Now, arguments are not bad things. In fact, they are good things. They are essential things. James, the first chapter, verses 19 and 20. My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. Now, this is not a verse against arguments. It's against arguments based on winning, dominating, silencing, and oppressing, and anger. The importance of arguments. An argument, and let's take a look at an argument in an academic setting. It's not two people yelling at each other. An argument in an academic setting is the process of engagement, where you put forth a proposition and support it using reason or evidence, analysis, while the other listens. And when you're finishing propositioning and supporting, the other puts forth a counter argument. Well, you listen. Focusing only on the proposition, this process continues until one of five things occurs. One, you persuade the other or others of the correctness of your proposition. Two, you get persuaded of the wrongness of your proposition. Three, you find areas of agreement and compromise. Four, you have a better understanding of the other, but recognize that differences are irreconcilable. Or five, one of you gets mad and leaves in a huff. Now, on my Facebook and other platforms, I appreciate people with differing ideas. And I usually keep your ideas up there, even if you disagree, if you engage in argument. If you just start doing name calling and go off on all sorts of crazy tangents, I am going to eventually block you. I think argument is important. The argumentation process is the foundation of academic discourse within the academy, and that's where I come from. It's worked well for centuries, enabling our various academic fields to continue to evolve. And these arguments usually take place in academic journals, conferences, and various other academic presentations. Now, I know you're saying, yeah, but we're not in an academic setting, you liberal egghead. We're talking about religion. And this is a well-stated proposition with which I agree. However, even in a non-academic setting, especially in a non-academic setting, in a religious setting, constructive argumentation is still the best way to move the conversation forward. Here, propositions are still made and supported using reason, evidence, and analysis. This is so important, this process, in fact, that the white men in tight pants who designed our democracy 250 years ago believed the argumentation process to be important. They built it into our form of governance. And today we have courts and legislative bodies where arguments are heard, propositions are supported, and decisions are made. The importance of argument. As I said before, argumentative processes promote growth, change, and evolution of our thinking. Argument invites us to revisit and review our view on things, and then either reify or revise our thinking. And changes in thinking do not indicate a flip-flopper or a spineless fraud. It doesn't mean that a person lacks strong conviction about things. It means the person is alive. Things that are alive change and grow when they encounter new information or have new experiences. Things that are dead stay the same and eventually wither away. It's the ability to change and grow in our thinking that has been hardwired into our species. It's what enabled our ancestors to leave the trees and evolve on the plains of the savannas millions of years ago. Yet some would prefer to stay in the trees. They see and hear only what they understand. Information or experiences that differ from the current ways of thinking are discarded or explained away. They wave their arms and screech in anger when they encounter ideas that are different from what they previously thought. And they live in clans of like-thinking individuals, which has resulted in cognitive inbreeding and all sorts of wacky mutations. No dissent. While essential for a healthy, functioning democracy, autocracies have never been comfortable with arguments. Arguments could get people believing the wrong sorts of things, they say. There'd be chaos if people were allowed to go around believing whatever they wanted, they say. We know what's best for people, they say. We'll tell them what to believe. And besides, they say, arguments are not needed if you are right about everything. And here I'll point out that Donald Trump has insisted that he's been right about everything. Throughout the centuries, the more powerful have always tried to quash the arguments made by the less powerful. They believe that people won't start believing the wrong sorts of things if they can't hear the arguments. Governments, political movements, and even religions have stayed in power far longer than they should by eliminating the argumentative process. Some good Christians have even burned people alive to eliminate the argument. And while being very, very wrong, this practice was somewhat effective in the short term. I don't recommend it. It's worth noting here that Trump's FCC and Justice Department have done all sorts of things to eliminate the argument. And these actions represent the very worst, the very most unpatriotic and un-American impulses. They go against what the founding fathers put forth. So what are we talking about here, you ask? Religion, politics? To which I say yes. Donald Trump identifies as a non-denominational Christian and presents himself as a staunch defender of religious liberty and traditional Christian values in America. And if beating people, killing people, denying basic civil liberties, imprisoning people without due process, spending billions on ICE agents and black site detention centers while cutting food programs and healthcare and covering up rape and sexual trafficking of girls, if these are traditional Christian values, I would say, whose tradition? Caligula